Well, welcome back to Sandy Bottom Homestead, everybody. The sun is out, ladies and gentlemen. It is beautiful, beautiful. We just went through Hurricane Debbie, Tropical Storm Debbie, whatever you want to call it. And we're out here in the garden. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you around and just briefly talk about everything. But I've got a problem that I've got to fix. And it's not really because of the storm, but it kind of magnified it to an extent. So I definitely want to show you that because, you know, you can kind of help your garden to death. Thankfully, we did not lose our popcorn. And I think the rain actually really helped it because everything is starting to tassel now. So we're getting some pretty good growth going on here. You know, I think that it really did just enjoy all of that rain. But I'm not, we still have pollen coming out, so we need to continue that. So I'll just hand pollinate a little bit, and all that is just a little bit of shake, let it fall, get on some of those tassels. You know, nothing major, but we're gonna continue to do that. I figured it would all be washed away, but that is not the case. So we will continue this process throughout and just kind of leaning it through. What I can do and probably should do is get like a big PVC pipe and then just go back and forth on it and just kind of brush it so that the pollen will fall onto the tassels. But yeah, it's time. So our rainfall totals here were about 14 inches of rain. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for the corn. The sweet potatoes, I don't know. We're not gonna know until we harvest them. We're still we're probably 3 weeks from harvesting them. So I'm not really gonna water them for the next week at minimum. And if we get any more rain, we'll push it out, but that should be enough water to keep them going. And as far as everything else in the garden goes, the only thing other than the project that we have to do today is our parsnip bed. That may be an issue. The seeds may have rotted. I'm not seeing anything germinate yet. The parsnips can take about 21 days before they germinate, so we still have a little bit of time. And I'm not really pushing the water to this either right now. I'm just gonna let the soil kind of dry out. You know, if anything was kind of even close to rotting, we're just gonna let it go and do its thing. But it can really be an issue. Look, anytime you get rain like that, you're gonna have problems. But what did happen was I've been keeping an eye on this buckwheat bed. Everything kind of laid down because of the rain, and we got a little bit of wind. It wasn't really bad. The rain was the big issue. But what occurred during the storm was this. You see this right here? Seeds. It went to seed on me. So the goal is not to let this plant go to seed in the garden. So we've got these seeds here and we've got to get them out of the garden because we want to end up planting this hopefully soon. But what we don't want is to have it a perpetual buckwheat harvest. I'm not trying to eat buckwheat. I know there's gonna be some people out there like, just save it and eat it. That's not my gig. I'm not trying to do it. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna come out here, well, right now, and I'm gonna cut all of this buckwheat down. And I don't know as of right this second if I'm gonna pull it or just cut it. But I'm definitely gonna do that, and then I'm gonna harvest the seed. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna attempt to do that. So on close inspection, I've pulled off what I can. And I will say this, what I ended up doing is I used the hand clippers and I would just clip off the uppermost portion. And if I come across anything, like I've been walking around and if I see something that looks like it's really got a lot of seeds on it, so like these are green seeds, not a big deal. They still have to ripen because you can't just pull any seed off. But if I came across and I saw something that just had a bunch of them like this on there, this one right here, you know, then I would either pull the whole plant, I would clip it or something. But as I got around here and I started looking real close, there's a lot of pollinators still feeding off of these flowers. And a lot of my bees were still on here and they were putting pollen in their pollen sacs and stuff like that. So we're just gonna leave the top portion of this for now. Here's one. So see how this one has a couple seeds on it? We'll just take it and run our fingers on it. But the majority of them are right over here. And so you can see we've got them in this wheelbarrow, and I put them all in a specific direction. And so, I mean, you can shake them, and they don't actually come off very easy, but if I start beating them, you can see how they're coming off. And so it'll just give us some, it's very therapeutic as well, give us some seeds to harvest off of this. I'm absolutely 100% sure that noise is super annoying to you and you don't want to listen to it. So I'll continue to beat it off camera. But the question is, like, I'm not going to eat the buckwheat, so why am I trying to save the seed? Well, I mean, it's to replant. You know what I mean? The way it's looking now for this garden bed and the seeds, to be honest with you, we could probably go a whole nother month before the plants that we have ready to go in there are ready to get in there, that we've seeded, which is going to be our Brussels sprouts. So they're delayed because of the weather and everything else. We've moved them inside so that they can grow under the lights, and they're starting to pick back up. We might have to adjust our schedule a little bit, but for right now, I'm gonna leave those plants there, even if it's just for a week. Every little bit helps to get, you know, my bees some more pollen and stuff like that. And as things progress and change, then we can kind of alter what we're doing. But for right now, I'm gonna leave them out there. I gotta come out here and pull this bed of corn up. And then this bed right here, it was for the Brussels sprouts, but we could in fact just transfer everything over one. And that's why I say it's really good to be flexible sometimes and not super rigid, and just kind of have your plan in place, but make it fluid. Adjust it as you need to, because the Brussels sprouts are a really important crop for us. We really want to try and get them under control. Last year was the first year that we were able to get a harvest, and we want to continue that. So this is going to be a good method for us. I don't know how long I'm going to leave these out here. Like, I'm looking at, it seems to me I'll probably come back out at the end of the week, give the bees a couple more days to enjoy this, and then go from there. But what I'm also going to do, I've got some buckwheat seeds left over that I didn't, like, not these, but other ones. I'm going to sow over here in the, what was the wild garden, and just let that just kind of grow and grow seed, just kind of go on like that. Because this is a winter kill crop. So what that means is when the frost comes, it's going to kill it. So we're not overly concerned about it really taking hold, but if you get seeds that fall on the ground, they stay dormant, it can really become a headache. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see what germinates after we pull everything up, and then we may just have to turn it over immediately and keep scratching that soil over and over to keep it from growing. But you know, this was one of my fears, and unfortunately the hurricane just kind of kept us from coming out here. I did not want this to go to seed in the garden, and we were right on track, and I would have, if I would have caught it in time, I would have pulled it all, but I didn't. So now we're kind of stuck in a hard place. So we'll just see what happens. You know, we can't always be in charge of the garden. Sometimes we have to let nature take control and just do what it can. So end of the week, I'll come out here and I'll clear cut this. I'll leave the roots in place, turn the soil over, reseed the other side over there, and then we'll just keep an eye on it for a week or so. We'll keep it watered so we can see if anything germinates, and then we will adjust accordingly. But at the same time, I'm going to pull up that corn bed and then get that one prepared for planting, because either way, something's going to the ground for fall, because it is fall planting season for show.